football. Good covering from Brett Stevenson, but to get over there. And then, of course, Laurie Blake's got the big sidestep, and he was able to read the sidestep. McEwen's pass to Ridge, met by Beatson, slips a pass back that Wattles are going to drop. Danny Smith puts it on the turf, and it'll be a scrum feed to Cities 25 metres away from the Wattles goal line.
Yes, poor Danny Smith will be having nightmares tonight about Cities players coming at him and standing there by himself, because I think that's the third time he's been faced with a Cities player, and probably more than one of them too.
Great move it was from Wattles. There's a ball rolling along the Wattles back. Cities back line after they won the scrum, but they were able to field the ball. Dennis Beatson picked it up. Collins goes to dummy half and turns a pass on the blind to Baker. Baker runs straight at Smith, and the opposition fullbacks meet in strong defence. Smith drives him back with Thrupp 15 metres from halfway. Down Wattles end of the ground. City's in possession. They lead in the grand final by 6-4. Eric Walter, I thought he nearly knocked that one on at the base of the dummy half position, but referee Little says play on. Away it goes to Haddock. Haddock decides to have his own little run in the middle, but he runs straight into his under-19 Roma teammate Brett Green. Haddock plays the ball, turns a pass on towards Duff and then to Collins. Collins on the outside to Beatson. Where's the runners outside Beatson? There is none, but he got a pass to Russell Jones out wide, and Russell Jones is met by Cherry on the quarterway. Beatson slowly getting to his feet too. He's had a big impact in the early stages of this game, Andrew.
He certainly has. He's cut Wattles up out wide, but that's the second time he's gone down.
Collins puts a short chip and chase on. It's in open territory. Danny Smith's got time to field this time. Pushes one away, goes to the touchline on the far side and runs into a big tackle from Howard Lewis. 18 metres away from the goal line. On the blind side goes Stevenson, grabbed by the jersey by Richters and then slung to the ground, still 18 metres out from his own goal line. Played away to Goodman and given towards Grilke. Short pass to Ridge. Ridge running strongly up in the open, Les Ridge, but Darren Haddock legs him. Puts him to the ground, and Barry Duff, who was the first man of the tackle, concludes it. 5 outside the quarterway. On the blind they go through Russell Grilke. Back on the inside to nobody. Fallen on for Wattles by Cities by Barry Duff, and that was poor football from Wattles, poor chasing. Darren Haddock was the closest man to the ball, but he realised he was offside. He stood up and Wattles couldn't get to it. That goes to Lewis running strongly, taken down in the tackle of Cherry, and also in there too Goodman. Played to Haddock, the slip from dummy half. Grabbed by Goodman, the ball slipping loose. Picked up for Wattles by Darren Haddock, but not by Darren Haddock. Darren Haddock was a player who lost it by Danny Smith, and he's pulled down 12 metres away. Lewis given a talking to there by referee Rex Little for a little altercation there on Danny Smith, a little short right hand I believe, and Howard Lewis spoken to, but just a running caution. Peter Cherry works on the blind. Thrupp, Packer, down the touchline, the far side goes the big second rower. Grabbed, nabbed and put over. Tony Collins, no, it wasn't Tony Collins, it was another of City's defender across in cover. Cherry on the blind side to Stevenson. Stevenson sprinting, runs at Baker, puts a chip and a chase on. Taken out of the play, the ball goes over the touchline. What will we have? Scrum.
He's going to play the scrum.
Yes, I thought that Stevenson may get a penalty there, didn't.
Thought maybe a player of Stevenson's size and strength may have taken Baker on one-on-one. That's the way it would have been.
I think he should have, because he had players looming up on the inside. If he could have stood in the tackle, he would have got a pass away.
Yep.
It was taking the odds to it, but anyway, it's the City scrum feed. They're under pressure, 12 out from their own goal line. They've won the scrum. Barry Duff taken to the ground. Scrums at the moment, Andrew.
5-2 to Cities.
None against the feeders yet. Russell Jones at dummy half, taken down over in the far side there by Brett Green. 12 out from the City's line. Michael Seavey, City's kicking game again from their own quarterway hasn't been impressive today. They haven't turned Wattles around. They haven't attacked, but they haven't been able to turn them around with their kicking. It comes back to Collins. Collins dummies out wide there. Oh, gee, good pass. Graham Richter's in the opening, racing downfield, chased by Ridge. Stevenson there to meet him. Gets away from Stevenson. Looks for Jones backing up, and you can put out your glasses. Russell Jones, chased by Ladbrook. Good tackle, Ladbrook, but it's not good enough because Jones is able to score the try. What a great pass from Tony Collins to put Graham Richter's into the opening. Cities are back at 10-4.
99. 10 pieces of chicken that's fine plus chips for $16.99. You get a hot cold picnic bag as well. Can't wait for the steel from Kentucky Fried Chicken. I can't wait.
At Arts 1 to 4, just a reminder that all of our football coverage is brought to you with the compliments of Kentucky Fried Chicken, Walsh's Takeaway and Roma Gas Supplies. Now let's go back to Bassett Park.
After half an hour in the 1990 Grand Final, Tony Collins' 2 points has put Cities ahead by 12 points to 4. Andrew, how'd you read that try?
Well, Peter, I thought the pass from Collins, had the Wattles' backs been up, it was certainly a floater. As it turned out, it picked its mark, but I was waiting for the intercept to come on, but gee, it turned out to be a beauty.
Turned out, I think a Wattles player, I think how the gap actually came was the fact that the Wattles player at the last minute decided he might be able to try the intercept, and all of a sudden the ball hit Richter's in the hands and he found the gap.
Yep, but Cities have got their supporters too. Their supporters to the man carrying the ball. There's always somebody there.
So they learned early. They learned after those couple of early breaks. There's no runners in the early breaks, but in the last couple of breaks there's been support getting there quickly. Right goes to Mickleborough. Then a pass to Jones. Jones gives it out to Collins from Duff and then to Waldron. Waldron running in the centre. Looks for Dennis Beatson. Just ankle tapped out there by John McEwen and held to the ground in the tackle of Peter Cherry. From the dummy half goes Waldron. Wattles are certainly had it at the moment. This happened the last time they played. Waldron overrun there by Russell Jones and taken to the ground in the tackle of Danny Smith. 18 metres out. Peter Cherry diving through in the play the ball.
Be interesting to see what happens here. He's going to, looks as though pack the scrum down. Well, I thought should have either been Cherry's ball or...
Play on.
Yes.
And play on, yes. Wattles did have a mark. Wattles Cities did have a man there in the play the ball. Rucky was just too slow getting down to the ball and Cherry dived through. Away it goes this time towards Packer. Packer running straight at the middle of the forwards. 10 metres outside. The quarter line is taken down. Cities gave away a golden opportunity for points there, I would have thought. A pass away from Grilke to Ridge. Ridge met by Blake. 15 metres from halfway, probably a little bit more. Played away on the blind side to Grilke. Grilke's pass to Lothian. Lothian slips to the ground and is pulled down eventually by Richters in tackle number 5. Wattles haven't got a lot of runners. Played away to Grilke. His pass to Goodman. Then to McEwen. They're swinging it on the 6th. Out to Thrupp. Thrupp sprinting. Still going, Darren Thrupp. Chased by Collins. On the inside to Stevenson. Stevenson, no support. Stag gets away from a couple. Looks for support on the inside now and then ball pinned to him by Warren Baker. It's rolled backwards. 6 tackles and the referee says we'll have the handover.
Well, I'm sure Stevenson saw Goodman on the inside, but he wouldn't let the ball go.
I thought that was the occasion he probably should have kicked.
Yes.
Tackle number 5. City's in possession, 10 outside their quarter away. It's 12 points to 4 in favour of the Blues as we get towards the half-time. The crucial period of the game, I would think. The next try might well decide it. I know Wattles have come from 22 behind before, but in the grand final do you come from that far behind?
I don't think so, Peter.
Richters from the dummy half, met solidly by Ridge and also in there too David Packer. They'll get up to play it away this time towards Stuff and given on to Cherry. Got to Collins out wide towards Waldron. Given to Baker at the line. Last-ditch tackle over there on the far side was Neil Goodman's. Played away to Waldron. He bangs it for touch on the far side and he will rolling over the touchline. About 10 metres outside the quarter-way, Wattles end of the ground.
Wattles seemed to be very flat, Peter. That last movement where Stevenson did end up down the touchline, even in that movement, their runners were very flat. And I think it's just the fact that Stevenson was unmarked out there.
Ball about to go into the scrum. Darren Haddock standing wide of the scrum, but it comes away towards Grilke. His pass to Smith, who's taken down in the tackle that time of Howard Lewis. He'll get up to play it. Penalty against Howard Lewis for laying down on top of Danny Smith there, knocking the ball loose.
Our second penalty of the match.
Anyway, the ball is found touch. I've just got to get rid of some kids.
Yes, the ball is found touch midway between half and quarter way. It'll be Brett Stevenson to take the tap and run it himself for Wattles. He runs it up to the City's quarter line. He'll play the ball. Goodman at dummy half, runs at the open, grabs himself an extra 5 yards. It'll be Stevenson once again at dummy half. Wattles on the attack. They take it the blind through
John
McEwen.
A pass knocked down by Barry Duff. The intercept on. Duff being chased by Ridge and Smith. And Smith comes across to ride him to the ground. That pass intercepted by Barry Duff to turn Wattles around again. Russell Jones away from the dummy half, tries to step his way up the middle but meets a defence. Michael Seaby not well in back play for Cities. Where's the play the ball? It's on now. Away it goes, this time towards Blake met strongly by Darren Thrupp, who was up very quickly to meet him and pull him to the ground. He'll get up to play it. The dummy half, it comes back towards Collins. Collins has passed away to Beatson. Beatson gets it back to Collins, who is just standing there waiting to receive possession. He unloads to Blake. Blake across the field meets Ridge, and they pull him to the ground. Ridge, and also in there too is David Packer. City's 12, Wattles 4. Collins, Beatson running straight at Goodman. Good tackle, but he flicks a pass up. Seeby picks it up. Now he's got to run with it, Seeby. He was down on the ground a few seconds ago, but he's taken down in the tackle that time of David Packer. 5 gone, Tony Collins puts the kick towards Gary Ladbrook's wing. I was saying before they weren't turning the Wattles around enough. Well, that kick is a good kick. It's gone over Ladbrook's head. I don't think he could do too much about that, and rolled into touch on the 6th tackle. Of course, he was better leaving it.
Yes, I think Wattles, Peter, they've got to start putting Dennis Beatson on the ground. He's still causing some trouble out wide. They're not putting him down. They're letting him unload. Got about 3 or 4 minutes, I think, until half-time.
Anyway, the ball about to go into the scrum. It comes back this time as Wattles win it to Smith. Gives it to Cherry. Cherry's pass towards Lothian. Lothian gives it to Darren Thrupp. They've opened up out wide. Thrupp downfield, chased by Jones. Gets away from him. Still goes Darren Thrupp. Still going Russell Jones, a tribute to his determination. But then he slips to the ground. Gives it to Cherry backing up. Cherry tries to lob it back. Going to be fought on for Wattles by Brett Stevenson. The referee says we'll play a scrum for the knock-on.
Be interesting to see who gets the scrum feed. I believe it should be a Wattles feed. Yes. I think Warren Baker
got a hand on it, yes.
I think he knocked it on first, but...
Duff's coming over to pick up the ball, is he? No, he's not. He does pick it up.
Yes, I think it is a City scrum feed.
Yes, it was interesting there. I just thought maybe that City's knocked it down first, but the referee didn't see it that way. Barry Duff off that scrum, eludes Brett Green, but runs into a tackle from Russell Grilke. Well, there, a tribute to the determination of Russell Jones. He stuck with Darren Thrupp there when he got out in the open. He didn't really tackle him, but he was able to menace him enough to stop him getting a decent pass away.
Yes, to let his own defenders get back with him.
Mickleborough running at the defence, taken down as Brett Green goes in there and grabs him and pulls him down. He'll get up to play it, getting close to half-time. Haddock away from the dummy half, met in the tackle of Darren Thrupp and Brett Green again. Played away to Seeby. His pass to Duff, given on towards Waldron, then to Collins, out wide to Graham Richters, who's been dangerous, looks to unload, the ball bouncing loose over towards the touchline on the far side. What's going to happen? John McEwen picks it up. What's going to happen? Referee's going to play a knock-on or something. The ball was bouncing loose, play had stopped, and then McEwen decided he better run with it.
It'll be a Wattles scrum feed about 10 metres in City's half. Probably their last chance to put points on the board, more points on the board in this half. As you said before, Peter, a vital stage of the game.
Well, into the scrum, it's taken out by Wattles, given away to Smith into the line. Smith dummying and goes in his own, almost through. Warren Baker had come up in defence, just grabbed him, but had he have got away from Baker, there was a big chance for Smith to go all the way. He'll get up to play it to Cherry, given on to Green. Green straight at the defence of Mickleborough and Beatson. Beatson holds him by the legs. He doesn't want to give away a penalty there. He's given away a penalty.
Yes,
pretty silly thing from Dennis Beatson, because they haven't got long to hold them out till half-time.
No, he certainly did hold on to him for too long. It was just a matter of time before Rex Little actually gave the penalty, and Cherry will attempt the 2 points. Brett Green's having a blinder. Peter, I'm glad I'm not taking his tackle count.
He'll be putting some marks on the book anyway.
Well, I ran out of ink in this pen already. I'd hate to do 2 of them in the one game.
Anyway, but of course he's still on the side that's being beaten. I think that Cities have deservedly led this first half of the game. There's no worries about that. They've made many inroads into the Wattles defence and probably should be a little bit further in front.
Possibly, Peter. They've Danny Smith, as I said, he's been faced by Cities players I think about 3 times when he's been back there by himself. Either of those resulting in tries, they would have been further ahead. Barry Duff's having a great game for Cities, as is Beatson. I think Collins is organising well.
The bounce of the ball probably going Cities' way a little bit, and the fact that Cherry's put the 2 point, but I looked up a bit late and it had been through the post before I actually looked up. So 12-6 the scoreline. A vital couple of moments before the half-time break with Cities to bring it back to kick-off.
Certainly making for an exciting second half. Nobody's game as yet.
Yes, no, there's nothing in it, of course, knowing the demise of Cities a couple of times in games in the second half this year. And, of course, the fact that the game's been played in fairly hot conditions. It's pretty hot out in the sun there today. Wattles, of course, their ability this year has been to stay with sides and then ground away victories, as they did in the major semi-final. Brett Stevenson takes play back to his own quarter and loses possession. The ball sitting loose there. Now Mickleborough can pick it up, so City's get a chance. Bad mistake by Brett Stevenson. Darren Haddock's pass away to Richters. Richters tries to step one or two and does. He loses the ball too. Referee's going to play a knock on. Wattles had possession. Richter's saying that a Wattles player pulled the ball loose, and I may be inclined to agree with him.
Yes, I think so. I think Johnny McEwen may be guilty there.
Anyway, it'll be a Wattles scrum feed. Russell Grilke puts it in, takes it out. It's Barry Duff, but doesn't push away from Darren Haddock, who broke that scrum quickly, but he did push Blake away, Haddock away. Danny Smith up the centre, 15 metres from halfway. Wattles finding a few breaks at the moment. The game turning around slightly. That goes to John McEwen. McEwen unloads to Laurie Blake. Blake stepping in the middle, but the Wattles cover was back there to grab Blake. John McEwen thrown a couple of bad passes. Lewis takes the wrong option. Darren Thrupp was 7 yards offside. He was 2 yards on City's side of the play the ball. Now Lewis lost it. Rolled away from him. Should have been 2 to City's there.
Yes,
I'll tell you for why. Darren Thrupp was 2 yards behind the play the ball, and he tackled Lewis when he broke out of the dummy half. Referee Rex Little didn't see him.
I'm not sure whether Lewis meant to go that way to get the penalty or he just ran into...
He should have gone the open because there was no Wattles defence there whatsoever.
So possibly 2 times when City should have had a chance to put 2 more points on the board.
Well, it goes to Danny Smith, trying to crash into the line. Taken down. Wattles still trying a bit too much, I think, when in possession. Playing the catch-up game. David Packer running hard and straight. Caught by Beatson and Blake is it and pulled to the ground. No, Mickleborough it was. He'll play it onto Darren Thrupp and then towards Cherry. Cherry bangs it for this touchline over here because Ricky Jones was up, but he didn't kick it far enough towards the touchline. Warren Baker grabs it. What's he going to do? Run straight at the tackle of Lothian, take the tackle, and that'll be half-time with the half-time score favouring Cities, 12-6. Darren Lothian grabbing at his hand there. He grabbed Warren Baker around. A lot of blokes throwing a lot more into it, haven't they?
Yep, that's right.
They realise now they've only got 40 minutes to play. But I do believe that in the second half we're going to see some entertaining football. As I said, I firmly believe the side that scores the first try might win the game or will win the game. I might be wrong in that one. But there's the kick-off by John McEwen. Down to Howard Lewis in his own in goal. He takes it and runs back towards his quarter. Wattles, of course, will be attempting to pin the City's side down there for a while. If they can do that, things might be a little bit different. City's in the early stages of the game got good attack going. Barry Duff tried to step through the middle. Met McEwen and Goodman. I noticed that John McEwen was standing very wide a lot in the first half. Seaby running strongly, reaches 10 metres outside his quarterway before he's pulled to the ground. A fitness cloud over McEwen earlier in the week. He's a very bad virus. That goes to Waldron, stuck close to the touchline. There's a good tackle from Mark Packer on the quarterway, so City's slung back in attack there. Back it comes to Collins and then to Darren Haddock. Haddock has to step up the middle, dummy to kick and then step to the middle and was pulled to the ground. Mark Packer, the defender again. So at the moment, City's pinned down there. The pass back to Collins. Collins bangs it down towards the touchline, but that's the first mistake of the second half. An ominous sign. Out on the full by 5 or 6. Well, touched in flight. Gee. Must have been a tall man.
Yes, I certainly
I don't believe that one. Certainly couldn't possibly believe that ball was touched in flight. Could not possibly have been touched in flight. Tony Collins kicked it 60 foot in the air. And there was nobody near him. The pass was thrown 15 yards back to him.
Yes, I don't know who came up with that decision.
Remarking it myself that the long pass was a very good pass from Laurie Blake. Warren Baker at the line after City's win the scrum. He's caught in the tackle of Danny Smith, his opposite number, and Peter Cherry. Played away to Waldron. On the dummy half to Mickleborough. Mickleborough running straight to the tackle of Cherry. Cherry grabs him and puts him to the ground 10 metres from halfway in Wattles territory. So Wattles a little bit hard done by there, I would have thought. As Jones has a slip away from the dummy half on the blind. Danny Smith grabs him, misses him, but coming from behind, Darren Thrupp slings him to the ground. Good run from Ricky Jones. Played away to Waldron. Given to Collins. Collins looks on the outside and finds Beatson back to Blake, but Mickleborough had got in the road. Lucky not to be pulled up for a shepherd, actually. On the quarterway, Collins dumming, runs straight to the tackle of Green and Goodman, and they pull him to the ground in tackle number 5. There's a field goal chance on here. Would they kick a field goal at this stage? When it comes to Blake, he does try it. Looks pretty good to me, no mistake about it. So that's the 7-point cushion. Maybe they might have needed more while they were down there. The score 13-6 in favour of the Blues.
Well, a 7-point cushion, Peter, in a grand final is probably much more handy than a 7-point cushion in any other game. Of course, last week we saw Wallumbilla, I think, take a bad decision when they went for 2 points and maybe should have gone for 4, but it could be a different story today.
Quick kick-off by Peter Cherry, straight at Mickleborough, who juggled it, pulled it in well at the finish, runs straight at the tackle of Stevenson, and Stevenson missed him, and he's grabbed in the tackle of David Packer. He'll get up to play it. Stevenson a bit frustrated with himself there as away it goes to Richters, running straight at the defence of Ridge and Goodman. Goodman, that's the place to tackle him right round the knees, pull them together. Away it goes this time on towards Beetson. Beetson having a run straight at the tackle of Peter Cherry, and Cherry puts him to the ground. Also a tackle to Lothian. Lothian not a well man. Darren Haddock slips from the dummy half, looks for support, stands, can't unload to Laurie Blake, who is steaming beside him. On halfway, pull to the ground, Dennis Beetson in defence. Give it to Waldron, bangs it for touch on this side. Stevenson chasing back after it, the ball taking a bit of an end-on-end roll, but then it stands up for Stevenson and he grabs it 15 metres from his own goal line. Runs at the tackle of Richters, and Seaby can stand but doesn't pass, and is put over in his own quarterway, and Seaby's tackle. Played away to Danny Smith from the dummy half, runs straight to Richters, shrugs him away, but doesn't shrug the tackle away that time of Mickleborough, and Mickleborough puts him to the ground just outside the quarterway. John McEwen. His pass on to David Packer. I think Wattles might need to inject Bobby Thompson into this game pretty shortly. Away it goes towards McEwen, then Ridge. Ridge running at the defence, splitting through, but Michael Seaby grabs him. He can stand. He'll play it forward and go on his own and work straight up the middle. Grabbed by Mickleborough and Blake and pulled to the ground. He'll get up to play it. 5 metres into Wattles, into City's territory. Played away onto Grilkey. Grilkey's pass to Cherry. Cherry out wide to Lothian, room to run, gives it to Ladbrook down the touchline on the far side. Ladbrook back on the inside to Thrupp. The defence had caught up with Thrupp. That's tackle number 6 and a handover. Yes, Darren Thrupp had overrun the original pass, and Gary Ladbrook had to run past him to get the ball back on the inside. 13-6 the City's leaders. Howard Lewis works 10 metres away from halfway, pulled down. A turnaround of the major semi-final when Wattles won 22-0. Michael Seaby might have lost that ball, has he? I think he's going to hold on to possession. Well done. He was under a lot of pressure there. Darren Haddock played a pass on this time to Mickleborough. Mickleborough straight to the tackle of Goodman and Ridge, and they put him to the ground. He will get up to play it. 12 metres still inside City's territory. Played away to Darren Haddock, and Barry Duff works on the blind. Puts a kick through. Danny Smith is back there to field it. Lets it bounce. Then he picks it up. Pushes Stevenson out of the road. Tries to get away from the tackle of Jones and Waldron. They pull him to the ground 10 metres from halfway. Played away. Not many Wattles runners there, but Brett Stevenson decides to have a run. Good tackle up there. Laurie Blake pulls him over. 5 away from halfway. Played on the blind side towards McEwen. Then to Cherry. Cherry unloads